to Steve Lappas, who used to coach at Villanova, and he is our colleague here, CBS Sports College Basketball analyst. Coach, how are you today? Tiki and Tierney, what's happening?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say hello to you guys in Houston. It was kind of a whirlwind for me.
It always is, and it's all good, Steve. No worries about that. Listen, you know the Philly sports scene as well as anybody. The Eagles are down. The Sixers, who knows what the hell they're doing. The Phillies are terrible. Flyers are okay, for sure. But Villanova's place in the lore of the city, what this means, try to put it into context for us, can you?
Well, put it this way. I was asking somebody the other day. I've been living here, obviously, off and on for, over almost 30 years now. And, I don't know all the history. I know Philadelphia's never won a Super Bowl. I know that. They tell me they've won a couple of World Series. They won a couple of Stanley Cups, won a couple of NBA championships. Bottom line is, somebody told me they've won 9 major championships in the history of Philadelphia, and Villanova's got 2 of them, or 9 or 10. May not be accurate, but it's pretty close. So that puts it right there. That Villanova is a huge part of this city and this area, and with 2 major championships, I think that has put them into a whole different category of program, because there's only like 15 schools that have won 2 or more titles. That tells you a lot about this small Catholic school in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and just how relevant it is from a basketball standpoint.
And you know what, Steve? Not only is it the 2 championships, but the riveting manner in which they occurred. But, when you take out Patrick Ewing, who was like a cartoon freakish character, like the Hulk back in the mid-'80s, you beat him, and then you deliver this buzzer beater in front of 90,000 people after North Carolina just dropped in a double clutch 3 of their own with 5 seconds to go. There's nothing mundane. I mean, championships are never mundane, but the 2 championships are like off the charts, incredibly aesthetically pleasing.
Well, might be the 2 best games ever played. I know people talk about the '83 game where Derek Whittenburg, Lorenzo Charles shoots the air ball for NC State, and he tips it in the basket. But to me, and I was obviously at both. I was an assistant coach at the one in '85, and now I'm in a different role, but very close to my heart. This one, I think these are the 2. Put it this way. I think there's a 1 and a 1A in terms of the 2 best games ever, and then I'll put NC State second.
Very noble of you, Coach.
Exactly.
That a boy.
And no bias there, but that's all.
None at all.
I don't really disagree with it, but it is subjective.
It is kind of hard to disagree. We spent a little bit of time yesterday talking about the mentality of Jay Wright right now, and we all know how this works. You win a national championship, people come knocking, usually from the National Basketball Association. What do you think his mind is as coming off this championship, obviously breaking through and dispelling some of those criticisms that have been around him for not getting deep into the NCAA tournament? Where is his mindset? Does he want to be here for the long haul and be on that Coach K level, or is he looking to take a step?
Well, we'll put it this way. We worked together at Villanova as assistants, so I know him for a long time. In my opinion, I don't think he's going anywhere. And it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. If you ask me to guess, that's what I would guess. Now, obviously, people start throwing, huge money at him and things like that, but I think he really loves where he is, and I think that his goal now is to win another one and to prove that this was not just a one-time fluke, to be in the hunt on a regular basis. And so I think that's where his mind is right now. But, I can't say never, and I'm not reading his mind, and I don't know who's going to be coming at him, but that's how I feel about it.
He seems like a Villanova guy. He is. There's no seems about it. I'm talking to Steve Lappas, who's also a Villanova guy. He's part of the CBS family, though, and he's an analyst. But to the game for a second here, Steve. The things that we take away, obviously the Wildcats did a tremendous job fronting in the post. Booth's unlikely contributions off the bench. I mean, there's a lot of things we can point to, but I brought something up to Tiki yesterday, and I think as a former coach, you'll really appreciate this, and it's kind of under the radar, and it's going to be forgotten. But I thought that the way Jay Wright navigated Jenkins' 2 fouls, when he put him back in the first half, and he got back-to-back buckets, and he avoided the third during that little 5-minute chunk that he played, or actually it was probably more like 4 minutes, I thought that really set themselves up for a position to win the game. And if it goes the other way, I think there's a pretty good chance they lose.
Well, put it this way. When he did that, I thought it was a great move, and I said it. I never like keeping a guy out if a guy gets his second foul with 12 minutes to go or 13 minutes or more to go in the half, I think he's got to come back in because a lot of times those guys become worthless in the second half because they don't feel like they're part of the game. And I got to think that especially in that kind of game, a championship game, if you have that kid setting out 13 minutes and then put him in the second half, is he going to be able to get back into the flow, you know what I mean, quickly? I don't think so. So I thought it was a great move, bringing him back in. He's a veteran kid, kind of knows not to get that third one, even though it's always possible, especially with a screen or something like an offensive foul. You can always control yourself on the defensive end. The problem with a lot of times guys get their third because they kind of get involved in a screen or an offensive foul or something like that. He didn't do that. He scored those two bags. Then with about 3.5, 4 to go, Jay could get him out, and he felt like he was part of the game. And I think that's the most important thing. I don't like it when people – now, if he picks up his second foul with 6 minutes to go in the half, and he played 14 minutes, you could sit him for the rest of the half and not worry about getting the third. So I thought it was a great move by Jay, and it worked out perfect.
Another coaching thought, and this one for Roy Williams, who's obviously been on this stage before. He's won a couple of championships. But at the end of the game, 4.7 seconds left. Should he have pressed at least a little bit instead of letting Arcidiacono come unfettered and pick him up in the half court and let him do whatever he wanted to do?
Here's what I think was wrong with the last 4.7 seconds. Number one, I would have put somebody on the ball. If you recall, North Carolina was having all kinds of was giving Villanova all kinds of problems getting the ball inbound. A couple of times Villanova had to throw the ball 70 feet into the backcourt. So they were having trouble getting the ball inbounds during the course of the game. So I would have put somebody on the ball to start. Plus, the guy taking the ball out was Chris Jenkins. If you watch the tape, nobody has Chris Jenkins. There was a massive miscommunication by Carolina. Isaiah Hicks had Ochefu, okay? Page had Arcidiacono, and then Barry and Jackson were guarding the same guy, and Bryce Johnson's guarding no one. He's standing under the basket. So, I mean, to come out of a timeout, like I said yesterday, I don't know, one of these interviews, so when we used to play in the park, when, the score was tied or whatever, you'd say, all right, who you got? Everybody knows who they got.
Yeah.
And they didn't know who they had.
Yeah, especially in a tie ball game.
Nobody had Chris Jenkins. Do you know who ended up contesting Chris Jenkins' shot? It was Isaiah Hicks.
Yeah, it was. That's right.
And it was bizarre that nobody had Chris Jenkins. Now, give Villanova credit, great execution, all that. But defensively, after a timeout, for everybody not to know exactly who they have, that was not good.
Steve, we got about 30 seconds here. Give us a little taste. We're still a couple of months away from the NBA draft, but if you're running a team and you got the first overall pick, are you really deciding between Simmons or Ingram, or do you already know who you're taking?
I'm taking Brandon Ingram. Now, I think you already know. Now, there's people still debating it, and I understand that. But if you ask me who I'm taking Brandon Ingram. That kid showed the multitude of skills. He could be a point guard. He's 6'9". He makes threes. He could drive, and he puts it on the ground. I think he is a much better all-around player than Ben Simmons.
By the way, you going to the parade for Villanova or no?
I don't know if I can go, but I mean, put it this way: I have talked more Villanova. It's almost like I won it.
That's it, right?
But it's been unbelievable, So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go to the parade, but I will definitely be watching.
Yeah, it pains me to say it, but congratulations, Philly.
Hey, it doesn't pain me, man. I'm all about the Catholic 7. Attaboy. No football budgets. Nice job, Steve. We'll talk to you soon.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Steve.
You got it. Steve Lappas, former Nova coach. Roll